Yeah, I want to go right to David and Pam out on the coast. You know, David, I just passed through Vienna in Austria, in Europe, and I was really surprised, to tell you the truth, even though I'm in the media. I was surprised at how big a singing sensation you are over there. I mean, it's like Elvis. It's tremendous. First of all, congratulations on that, and when are we in the United States going to see that aspect of your life?
I really don't know. We're negotiating a deal now. The first album we did was called Looking for Freedom, and it was recorded about 6 months before the Berlin Wall came down, and it almost became a bit of the theme song for the freedom fighters over there. And I went on tour. I was 8 weeks #1, and my second album, which is the one that you saw, went #1 in Vienna last week, in Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. We're trying to get a deal here in the States, but I'm not so sure that the music that I'm doing over there is right for the States. It's more of got the European flavor, and so we may have to color the songs and do something a little different here for the States.
Do you think you're typecast as, you know, the hunk of, primetime sitcoms and soaps?
I think it's difficult for actors to cross over as well as for musicians to cross over as actors, but you can do. There's so many people who are multi-talented. I grew up in musical comedy. I mean, my first play was Peter Pan. I had a theater in my basement, and all I ever wanted to do was musical comedies. And right now, I'm chasing the powers that be for the lead in Les Miserables or Miss Saigon for the LA production or the film version. That's my dream. That's what I want to do.
Well, that'd be terrific. I bet you'd be great at it.
Well,
you also did a lot for Shar-Pei Puppies recently.
You have a Shar-Pei, don't you?
Now, Pamela, how did you feel when David did the centerfold in Cosmo magazine there, draped only in a wrinkled puppy?
Right. Well, actually, at the time, I was like 6 months pregnant. And actually, I was trying to, there was about, I don't know, like 8 men. And they wouldn't let me in the room, so I'm peering through the curtain to look at him. It would have been a rough shoot no matter what, but I thought he looked good.
But how do you deal with the adoration that he gets, not just on the whole Knight Rider Baywatch thing, but now as this Elvis kind of crooner out in Europe with the women throwing themselves at him? How do you deal with that?
Actually, the pros outweigh the cons by far, but we don't run into a lot of animosity or anything. Everybody's coming from the heart. The only time there's been some problems is sometimes a fan will get out of hand, like about a week ago. He was out of town, and a girl came to our gate, and she started ringing. I said, hello, and she says, I'm from Germany, let me in, I'm here to stay, and she had 2 bags packed. She was planning on staying with us.
Shades of Brigitte
40 minutes.
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
No. So sometimes when they get out of hand, and it's a little scary. That's the only time that it's hard to handle. Or when we're in the middle of a kiss and somebody will come up and go, excuse me, I hate to bother you, but, but all in all, it's...
Childcare reminds me that, David, you were not home when Pamela was giving birth recently.
No, I'm still in the doghouse for that.
Oh, no.
Yes. She came 5 weeks early. Pamela was with me on tour. In Germany and Switzerland, and she went home to rest and almost had the baby on the airplane. And I was over
Iceland, and I went into contractions going, what's happening here?
That really happened?
Truly. And so I went to the restroom and realized this was really happening. So I thought, okay, I got to be strong here. So I went to the steward, holding back tears, saying, I think I'm going to need some assistance. Is there a doctor on board? And everybody, next thing you know, he was a pathologist, a maternity nurse, and a gynecologist. And for some reason...
Pretty well staffed.
Yeah, but for some reason the steward did process of elimination and sent over the pathologist.
Oh, no. But obviously you held out. Did you hold out for home in Los Angeles?
Yeah, the good news is they'd land for me. The bad news is they were going to land in Canada and leave me there, so I opted to go to L.A.
Well,
and the ambulance was there and everything, and rushed me to the hospital.
David was actually on stage at the
people
moment.
were chanting David, David, David because I was late, and the phone rang, and
I was chanting David, David.
I'm having the baby now, and you're not here. I'm very upset. And I went, oh my
Let's
God.
show the videotape of the announcement of the arrival when they came running up to tell David that little Taylor Ann had been born.
You just gone
Yeah. We just had a baby girl!
How about that? Very nice. Going into David and Pamela, you know, you both in the public eye, both actors. How did you two? Was it love at first sight in your situation? Where was it? Was it on one of the series?
Well, actually, we met like 5 years ago. I did an episode of Knight Rider, but we both were involved with other people, so that never entered my mind at all. And then we kept running into each other.
And so we were finally single again.
Yes.
And so when we finally ran into each other and we were both single again, we said, let's get together and talk about past relationships.
But we'd sit and talk for like a full hour.
Did he really say that, Pamela? Did he say, let's get together talking about past relationships? Do you remember his
No,
own?
he didn't. He didn't even ask me for my phone number. I sat and talked to him for like an hour. I thought, all right, he's never going to ask me for my phone number. You know, and I had about 5 different girlfriends with me, and they kept running up to talk to us, and I kept going, go away, you know. And then I finally said, I'm going to go back to my girlfriends. And then did he ask for your phone number? And I said, no. And they said, go give him your phone number. I said, I can't do that. I can't do that. So a good while I asked every strange guy that passed by me, what would you think if a girl handed you their phone number?
Did your own market research. That's great.
Yeah, I was so nervous. I really was.
How did you react, David, when she did it?
When she gave me the phone number,
Yeah.
I said, yes.
Right there.
Yeah.
David and Pamela?
We're the rookies.
He threw me an anniversary party this last Sunday, a surprise.
How about that? Happy anniversary.
He threw me, thank you.
I have a question for David Hasselhoff. Considering your success in Knight Rider, how has the music or singing career internationally, has it lived up to your expectations thus far?
Yeah, you know, the Knight Rider was syndicated in 72 countries around the world, so everywhere I went, people would stop me in different languages and say Michael Knight, where I'd be in Italy, they'd say Supercar or O Justiciero in Portuguese, and it opened up all the doors, and the music is the live connection with the audience, which unfortunately we don't have over here during this show, is an amazing thing. It's, you know, when you're doing a television series, it's very long hours, and your jokes wear very thin with the crew.
And talking with the car all those hours.
Talking with the car, yeah. And the car was actually an actor named Bill Daniels, but whoever wanted to read the lines of the car that day would read it. It could be the AD, it could be the stage manager. But when you're on stage playing to 12,000 people, and they don't speak a word of English, but they know every lyric to your song in English, and it's an amazing feeling. And they all bring me gifts. They brought me hundreds of gifts for my baby. All my baby bottles are in German.
Thoughts from our guest before I do this last question for David.
I would like to ask David if he has any more action movies or TV shows coming up.
Is it going to be a Knight Rider too, or?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you know, they were bringing back Knight Rider for a 2-hour special where Michael Knight goes into the future, and Baywatch was actually canceled by NBC, but because of how popular it is around the world and all the letters, we, myself and 3 other producers with a group of investors have brought Baywatch back, and Baywatch will be on the air in September 1991.
Yeah.
All right, Pamela, any Valentine's Day thoughts?
Oh, I just want to say how much I appreciate David and for always being there, even though he wasn't at the birth of the baby. He was there at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever time in the middle of the night, he was always there. And he supported me through everything, and he loves me unconditionally. And he means the world to me. And he's my best friend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bill and Susan? Bill and Susan. He's the handsome hunk of the hit series Knight Rider and Baywatch. What you may not know is that he's become an international singing sensation, even invited to perform at the Berlin Wall in front of 500,000 adoring fans. Welcome David Hasselhoff and his beautiful wife, Pamela Bach Hasselhoff. All right. Now we'll find out how these great superstars met and fell in love, the fascinating ways that they stay happily together, because celebrity love stories is the focus of this edition of Geraldo.